As a skeptic when it comes to the God of War Trilogy remake, how about we take a positive spin and talk about my top 10 things I think the remake might actually do better than the originals. If you want to hear pure cynicism, check the previous video linked below. For this video, let's be hopeful. Number 1, the camera. I definitely want to go back to a handcrafted cinematic camera, one that frames combat in useful ways while also giving each space its own perspective. Near, far, parallel, moving with the environment and framing interesting things in the background. The camera is one of the best things about the original series. It's the single best implementation of a dynamic fixed camera system. Compared to Devil May Cry, Bayonetta, Darksiders, Ninja Gaiden, it just blows them all away. But it is not without its issues. It is, after all, a camera system that originated in 2005. There's jank, there's some frustrating moments. I think we've all cursed at the TV after falling off the beams in the ship level for the 15th time. What I'd like to see is a refined camera that draws from and evolves the classic one. Kinda like how Tormented Souls took the classic fixed camera system of the old survival horror games and made it incredibly smooth. Sometimes it's static when they want to frame a room a certain way, sometimes it follows you like a traditional camera, sometimes it spirals around, creating a sense of dread and disorientation. Just because a camera system is old doesn't mean it has to be thrown out, it can just be improved. Cinematography is an art. A painting, a picture, a frame of a movie makes you feel a certain way. It draws your focus to something. It makes you feel big or small. We love the old camera not just because you can actually see and react to the enemies around you, but because it creates a truly cinematic experience. In a world where people wrongly think that cinematic means slowly walking and talking for 5 minutes and watching cutscenes. The original God of War games, like the old fixed camera survival horror games of the 90s, are uniquely fun to watch as spectators too, because of the constantly changing framing of the spaces. Let's put the work into creating a dynamic visual experience to go along with the gameplay. The camera and the way it moves is actually crucial to the epic storytelling of the God of War games. The sense of awe those games create is simply unmatched. So many handcrafted camera movements made to heighten the drama of the moment. Yeah, it's cool to be able to look around from the character's perspective, but it'll never compare to the artistry and immersion, yes, immersion, of the original camera direction. This is number 1 on the list because it is the most non-negotiable thing for me and many other fans. Number 2, the flying sections. The Pegasus levels are not the best parts of God of War 2. Thankfully, they only happen twice, and I think they're better than other vehicle sections in the genre. Compared to Bayonetta's motorcycle or Devil May Cry's flying boss fight, the Pegasus levels really aren't that bad. Fairly short and filled with enough variety to keep it moderately interesting. Dodging, ramming, executions, it's cool. It's just not nearly as good as the core gameplay. So to me, this is a no-brainer. You can absolutely make this better. The flying sections in God of War 3 I think are still pretty decent. They can probably just tune them up a bit and add some new stuff. Number 3, climbing combat. I think most people would agree that one of the weakest aspects of the original games is when you're climbing on ropes or walls or ceilings and you gotta fight dudes or arms coming out of the wall. All you can do are these 2 slow attacks and 1 grab. It's never been fun. I'm not sure how they fixed this, either by making it faster and with another option or 2, or by reducing the climbing sections enough for them to not even need to put pacebreaker combat there. Number 4, XP gain. One of my favorite things about classic God of War is the combo counter. Instead of a style meter like other hack and slashers, for every 10 hits or so, you gain more XP orbs. 10 hits plus 2, 20 hits plus 4. Once you start getting into the 50s, 100s, you're getting a bunch of extra XP that you can spend on weapon and magic upgrades. Stop making contact for too long, the combo dies. It's so fun to find ways to keep it going through smart defense, magic use, grabs, and air launchers. Shoulder button attacks do scripted animations that rack up a bunch of little hits for the counter, but they can't be cancelled with a block or a roll, so you're vulnerable to getting hit yourself. It's a risky move that has to be set up, and knowing which grab to use can put you just over the top for a big combo bonus. All of this, combined with general XP gain from enemy deaths and big brutal execution bonuses from QTEs, means that smart play and engaging in the game's multiple systems rewards skilled players with earlier upgrades, which is very useful on the higher difficulties. And I am talking about general play, not speedrunning or challenges. But you also get a lot of XP through chests along the set path and during exploration. Those QTE executions are giving orbs equal to like a 50-hit combo. So the combos themselves aren't as important as I think some of us wish they were. I would be very happy if, at least on the higher difficulties, the combo system were more important. Just as strict, but maybe more rewarding in comparison to the XP gained through other means. Learning to do long combos and keep that counter going is really fun, and it feels amazing to get that big XP bonus. Lean into it, push us further into the fun zone. And speaking of difficulty, number 5, higher difficulties available at the start. I'm kinda split on the idea of locked difficulties. On one side, I hate when I play something that forces me through 10 to 15 hours of a campaign that's too easy before I get to play with a sense of challenge. But on the other side, I've always enjoyed playing something that was already very challenging at the start, beating it, and seeing that glorious message, "You've now unlocked insane mode," and being like, "Oh shit, a higher difficulty, let's go!" I don't know how to resolve these two sides of me. What I will say is that these kinds of games have been around for 25 years now, and developers have to consider that they have a lot of returning fans who are either very familiar with the genre, or are experienced veterans of the original trilogy, or they're just people who love playing hard games and they have for decades. We are, after all, living in a post-Dark Souls world. The 2018 God of War reboot immediately offered the highest difficulty possible for those who wanted it. It was ridiculous, but it was there, and I think the reboot trilogy should probably go that route. Offer the highest difficulty right at the start, make it bonkers, and when you beat the game, maybe offer some unlockable modifiers like half magic capacity, one-hit death, or whatever you want to do. Balance is a really tough thing to tackle in God of War because the combat is designed around such powerful long-range melee attacks. Hitting multiple enemies, doing heavy splash damage, launching. It's hard to make it not viable to run away and spam the same string in many cases. You have to have really aggressive AI, attacks that counter you, and enemies you really want to engage in other ways. The wraiths come to mind. They are incredibly annoying, evasive, hard to hit stun, they go underground a lot, but they're weak to grab. A grab will launch them into the air where you can do a bunch of focused damage on them. Stuff like that helps push you off runaway square triangle spam. But I don't think you can eliminate it just given the nature of the game. It'll be interesting to see how they get the balance here. Number 6, boss fights. God of War has epic boss fights. That first one against the Hydra is simply iconic. The Colossus, unforgettable. Ares and how it drives you into Kratos' consciousness and you have to protect your family. Some of these bosses aren't just individual fights, they are a living part of the level. Some are more spectacle than battle, some are very platforming focused, some have a puzzle element. I always go back to the final Hydra fight where the mini Hydra heads would knock you off the net if you tried to climb it, so you had to knock them out first and then quickly jump up the boxes to impale them with a spike, allowing you to climb to the top. There's so much variety, and because there's so much variety, there's a lot you can play around with. Some of these fights can be completely reimagined. There could be new boss fights. Maybe there's even a new combat mechanic that gets integrated, we don't know. Maybe God of War 3's grapple will be included in God of War 1, and then that gets integrated into the boss fights. A shake-up to these fights is one of the most interesting things to think about. So is number 7, level design. In the Resident Evil 2 and 4 remakes, they did similar map layouts to the early sections that were the most iconic and memorable. The layout of the map, especially in the Raccoon City Police Department, is burned into the minds of every fan. It was very important to stay faithful to while also expanding on it and shaking it up in interesting ways. But after that initial faithfulness, they took many liberties in redesigning spaces. The sewers, the laboratory, the castle, the military base. Some of it worked, some of it didn't, but I think there's a 100% chance that essentially every map gets redone for God of War. While the general settings, set pieces, and aesthetic of the original games are highly memorable, the actual layouts of the maps aren't. It doesn't matter if they change which hallways you go down, or where you climb or slide down, or where the breakable walls are, what the puzzles are, where you meet certain characters. What's important is that we go to the places. Athens, the desert, Pandora's temple, Hades, the frozen Titan's lair, the Steeds of Time, Tartarus, the caverns. We are guaranteed remixes of these environments that'll give us cool new visual and gameplay experiences, and a nice shuffling around so veterans don't just automatically know where to go. There are certain rooms, structures, moments, parts of the maps we definitely want to see, but the map design itself can be modified no problem. And whatever you do, keep it linear. 10 to 12 hours, high replay value. Don't turn it into a giant open world or a backtracking Metroidvania. Keep it linear. Greg linear, Laura linear, Bruce. Keep it linear. Number 8, blood. I want God of War 3 levels of gore in all of them. Old school fans, do you remember when they first showed the gutting of the centaur, or the decapitation of Helios, or the gushing fountain of blood drenching Kratos after he ripped out the Cyclops' eye? God of War 3 was the game that actually brought the violence of Kratos' world to life. In my old age, surrounded by countless games with realistic graphics, I do actually prefer the visual style of the PS2 games, being less focused on realism due to the technical limitations, of course. But finally seeing God of War presented in such realism at the time was incredible. And with it, we got blood. So much blood. Seeing the story of God of War 1 and 2 with God of War 3 levels of violence is a very exciting idea to me. Number 9, a better connected story across the trilogy. One thing that has really come to irk me over the years is how the ending of God of War 1, where Kratos was said to have gone on for millennia watching over the world's battles as the new God of War, was changed to him acting like an asshole right away and using his power to help Sparta attack other cities, which pissed off the gods so much they had to stop him. That's a simplistic way to put it that ignores Zeus's paranoia of his son killing him and Kratos not being allowed to forget his past. But you know what I'm saying, Kratos is just lashing out, now ungrateful for his position as a god instead of honoring it like it was suggested at the end of God of War 1. It's a retcon for a sequel to a game that had already wrapped up nicely, not knowing if it would even get a sequel. It's fine, you gotta make the story go on somehow, but I would have liked to have seen more established about Kratos' state of mind, what he wants to accomplish, and some more attention paid to who he is. God of War 1 is a very personal story, not just of revenge, but of guilt, depression, and self-loathing. Kratos drank and indulged in casual sex to dull his pain. By the end of the game, he's so damn sad that the gods won't allow him to forget his past that he throws himself off a cliff to die. Just because he became the God of War after that doesn't mean that stuff goes away. And God of War 2 really only pays lip service to that stuff. It's almost entirely focused on Zeus killed me for being a dick and now I have to go back in time to kill him first. And then God of War 3 is, I'm gonna storm Mount Olympus to kill every god because they won't let me kill Zeus. I love it, it's an incredibly exciting adventure, and I feel Kratos' lust for vengeance just as he does because I love him. But it is a less compelling tale than one of seeking absolution and a new start after a life full of horror. I think it would be cool to make some small adjustments to the story to include more of Kratos' personal baggage, tie things together a bit so we think a little more about who this man is. And number 10, QTEs. We largely owe the popularity of QTEs to God of War, and while they quickly became tiresome in other games, in God of War it just feels right. Playing them again 20 years later, I still get into them. Something about the sync, the rhythm, and the animations. They don't happen too often, and many of them use the analog stick in a fun way, twisting the stick to rip off a Gorgon's head, spinning it round and round to wind in this whatever it's called. I think it's fun. I don't think you can eliminate them in a remake, but you can reimagine them somehow, make them more interesting. But the real opportunity is variety. I get a bit tired of killing the Minotaur the same way every time. Maybe there can be 3 or 4 ways to take him down that are randomized, or possibly even dictated by which direction you initiate the QTE from. Oh my god, like Doom Eternal, oh my god, guys! Before I go, I want to mention something that I absolutely do not want them to remove, and that's the resource management. God of War has limited magic, obtained through chests and killing certain enemies. The reboot put it on a cooldown system, and it also changed how checkpoints work, giving you a full health refill when you load one. It took away the importance of guarding your health bar. I'm gonna do a video specifically on this topic, but I wanted to bring it up here briefly, so tune back in soon for that video. Alright, that's my list. How about you share your own ideas in the comments? How about you like and subscribe to my channel, cause you know I'll be covering these games for years? How about you join my Patreon and give me $5,000? There's all kinds of things you can do if you put your mind to it. Thanks for watching, let's cross our fingers. And hey, you. Yeah, you. The viewer who watched to the end, what's up? How you doing? Chances are you're someone who's stuck with me for a while now, or you're coming back because I'm doing God of War stuff again. I just wanted to take a moment to thank you and share some thoughts. You know, I've been doing this for 6 years now. Sometimes I think, man, what more is there to say? Do I really still have a passion for this? And it's stuff like this video that reminds me I do. I get tired of the video grind sometimes. I don't have as much time for it as I did in the first years, but this dive into classic God of War and the big review of the new Silent Hill movie, the survival horror resource scarcity videos, the massive reviews of classic Twilight Zone, these projects show me that I've still got it and I don't want to quit. So thanks again for watching, and I think I might revisit my first How God of War Was Ruined video now that it's hit 1 million views. That could be fun. Bye bye.